Right, in this lesson, we're going to look at how we insert a table and the different properties of a table. So again, we're going to click the Insert button on our tabs at the top, and we find the table sits on its own in its own grouping. And you can choose, click on Insert a Table, or you can choose how many columns and rows you want. So a column goes down and rows go across. The minute I click off my table, you'll see that two tabs disappear at the top. I click on my table, the tabs appear: Table Design and Layout. I'm briefly going to speak about Table Design and the Layout tab. Let's start with Layout. The nice thing about that is that we can add and take away columns and rows, and there's a whole lot of things that we can do to make our table look good. So here we have our grouping again, our rows and columns grouping. We've got our merge grouping, the cell size grouping, and alignment grouping. And then we've got our data grouping on the far right. So if we go to our row and column grouping, we see that we can insert rows, we can insert columns. So what I want to demonstrate, I'm going to show you, I'm going to set up a quick table, putting in a heading, merging cells, inserting cells, putting in colors, changing text direction, etc. And that'll give you a good indication of all the different things that we can do on a table. And I'm also going to show you how you can manually change the width and the row height of each of your cells. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm going to left click and highlight these three cells, and the minute I do that, if I click on the first cell, you see that the merged cell has been grayed out. I'm going to left click, drag across. You can see it no longer grayed out. Click on merge, so this becomes one cell. I want to make this slightly bigger, so I can drag this down, and you can see that my cursor went between the two lines with an arrow at the top and an arrow at the bottom. The same on my column width. If I move my cursor between the two columns, you can see it has a little arrow each side, and I can also manually drag by left clicking and holding it down, change my column width. I can also go, and you can see at the top of the cell size grouping, I can also change the size of my, the height of my row over here, and I can also change the width of my columns over here if I wanted to. Okay, so over here, I might, let me just move this out a little bit more. Okay, so there's various things that you can do. I'm just going to undo this quickly. Okay. I can also go and delete my table by clicking on delete. I can distribute my rows evenly and my columns evenly. So there's various things that you can go and do. I'm going to pull this across over there manually. Okay, so those are some of the things that I can go change. Also select these and change the width. And I always suggest that you do this at the start before you start splitting cells, because as you can see, they do move out of alignment. Okay, I'm going to go insert a heading, and in my alignment group, I can choose to have it vertically and horizontally aligned, pop it off to the left, to the right, etc. So I'm going to put in over here and say my shop. Let's move this one slightly. Okay, looks a bit better. I want to insert more rows going down. So my rows and columns grouping, select down. And if I want to put another column to the right, insert to the right, and then I would need to go and merge these cells. Okay. I want to, so let's say I had name, and tab takes you to the next column. So destination, oopsie daisy, and time. So let's put in bit array. I think you spell it like that. Destination Johannesburg, and time. Just give some random time. Okay. I want this to look a little bit, sort of make it look a little bit better. Let it stand out a little bit. So now I'm going to go to my table design, and I'm going to choose to put in a particular color to shade that particular cell. You notice that when it goes darker, that the font changes to white. So if you look over there, the font is still in black, but as I go down, you can see the font actually changes to white. Okay, I might decide to use blue, and to change my font, so go to home and change my font color to, I don't know, make it stand out like that. Right, I can also bold this. Here we go. I want these headings to be at a little bit of an angle. So go to my layout tab, click on text direction. You can see it pops around like that. Okay. I want to color these cells in. So I go to table design, and I can also shade them a different color. I might want my borders to stand out. Maybe I want to highlight the time. So if I click on that cell, I'm going to click Border Painter, and you can see a little pen appears. And now I can actually choose what color I want. So let's say I want that to be red because I want it to stand out. I can choose the width of my line or the type of line that I want. Okay, I can choose width, make it 1.5. And now if I go and left click on each of these, it'll make it stand out. And by choosing the border painter, it actually allows you to individually put a color around the cell on each of the borders, the top, the bottom, the left, and the right-hand border. Okay. Let's go back to layout. Let me click, turn that off. Go back to layout. I might want to split a cell. Let's say I want to say destination as well as arrival. So I want to split the cell. Go to my merge grouping, split the cell, number of columns 2, number of rows 1. Yes, that's good. There we go. I might decide that I want to pull this slightly across. And over here, I'm going to write arrivals. But now I see, whoops, I haven't done it for all my other cells. So I go and select those, split cells, don't merge before splitting, number of rows. Well, I'm going to have to do that. And there we go. Okay. Right. And I could say Cape Town, for example. And arrivals are spelled wrong, incorrectly. There we go. And now I can go and change my text direction on that. All right. Pull that down slightly. And everything fits in. Good. I think that's everything that I would like to do to make my table look more presentable. Let's look at table design. Okay, we've looked at the shading, we've looked at our border grouping, layout. We've looked at how we insert rows and columns, how we can split a cell, how we can merge cells, how we can change the size of our row height or our column width, our text direction, and that's about all that we need to know for now. And just one more thing that I want to show you. I'm actually going to insert all the way down till we get to a new page. Okay, now if you were on page 4 or page 5, you'd have a problem because you wouldn't remember what your headings were. So what we can do is over here, go to repeat the header rows, and there they get repeated at the bottom again. Okay. Another thing that we can do with our table is we can convert it to text. So I'm going to highlight those, convert it to text. There we go. And I can actually go and highlight all of this and go to insert, go to tables and insert a table. Sorry. And I can also go to convert text to table. Right. Didn't come out exactly the way that it was, but you can go and fiddle around and change all that. Yes, I'm just going to undo what I've done. There we go. I think that's everything that I needed to show you.